In January, footprints teamed with Global Brigades Panama at Embera Puru in the Darien area of Panama. An artesian spring known never to go dry is known by the village to exist within 200 meters of the living area. Measurements, initial excavation, and mapping of the water source will be the first goal. Footprints deployed to the site with the support of Global Brigades Panama and met the local leaders. Footprints provided all the tools and equipment needed in order to measure the rate of recharge for the spring. The springs were visited one by one in their unimproved state. Mapping and sketching of the springs as well as a test table was developed. The rock at the surface is rippable. It's soft, almost like sandstone. It can be dug through. It is also fractured and full of water. The point of most dampness was tested with a vertical rod to see the depth of the area where the water is bubbling to the surface. Measurements were taken of the two springs which are interconnected and will most likely be the source of water for the community in this project. Additional excavation was needed in order to reveal the extent of the spring and remove loose topsoil, which is burying the fractured formation which holds water. A secondary spring was located, which is interconnected and only 20 meters away from the primary source. It's seen bubbling water, which means it does have a head upstream, which is pushing the water down toward the village. The entire area will need to be cleared of the topsoil and mud in order to expose the water-bearing layer below. And this was done by the community for the area of the spring where the spring box will be located. The depth of the water-bearing layer was measured to be 80 centimeters. At this point, there is hard rock, which is keeping the water at the surface and not allowing it to percolate further into the ground. This is a good, clean source of water, slow, but of very good quality, and it's something that should be looked at for development. The question now is the size of the spring box, and this will be in the design. Spring recharge. Springs have a rate at which water percolates to the surface. We need to measure this rate in liters per hour or per minute to determine if this source is sufficient for the community's needs. Plastic dam was brought to the site, which will be used to contain the water, and once it's built up, canalize it to a pipe in order for it to be measured. The dam has to be secured so that water cannot go around it or underneath it, and all the water that percolates up through the ground is forced to go through the pipe in order for it to be measured. Progress is slow but steady, and the dam is taking shape. The water will then be allowed to rise through the primary source, fill the area behind the plastic dam, and then be captured in order to be measured. Steady progress. Organizing. Getting the community together to accomplish a task is the basis for success. And when leaders and residents see that the work will benefit them, it makes it a lot easier. And that was the case with this community, who saw the need to secure water for the 4 months of dry season. It was not difficult, and the turnout was great. The interest peaked. Lots of hands to help. Excavation. Initial excavation and clearing of the spring was done. The rock is rippable. We can dig it out. And the water permeates this layer, which is 80 centimeters deep. Below this layer is hard rock, and that's what's keeping the water from percolating all the way down into the ground and being lost to the surface. Spring development First uncover it, prepare it to measure, and then get ready to